On YouTube. So a lot of you guys probably have a lot of polymer, either gun parts or gun accessories. For example, Magpul PMags. A lot of companies I have seen market, grip tape for your PMags, but what you can do for a lot cheaper, just take some time and patience, is stipple them. And what I mean by stippling is you're literally melting into the polymer of these magazines. So how do you do this? You just need a cheap little soldering iron and go ahead and take out the PMag. Got a brand new one. I'm going to start from scratch for you guys because all the ones that I currently own are already stippled and I absolutely love it. Don't regret it. If you do any kind of tactical shooting where you pull your PMag out of any kind of vest or anything, it's really nice, gives you a positive grip to pull your PMag. Alright, so real quick, just going to give you kind of a side-by-side comparison, and of course I have the Ranger plate on the bottom of this, but smooth PMag versus the stippled PMag, a lot better grip on the stippled PMag, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I personally did this. So what I'm doing right now is just drawing a little bit of a stencil where I know I'm going to start and stop stippling. So I'll point it out on the one that's already done. You can see right here where I stopped and I just drew a line, and then also where your round count indicators are. You don't want to go over that, so I just draw a quick little stencil so that I don't go over it. And before you get started with the stippling, one of the most important tools I can recommend that you have around is actually a wet old utility rag you don't mind getting kind of marked up and messed up. The reason for that is that once you start melting away on these PMags or the other pieces of plastic you may be doing stippling on, you're going to get a little bit of melted plastic on the tip of your soldering iron. And so with the wet rag, to where it doesn't burn, you just kind of wipe it and it'll go ahead and get a lot of that melted plastic off to where it doesn't get in the way of your stippling. So now you're ready to start stippling, and the best advice I can give you is to keep a nice and consistent pattern going to where it looks nice and neat. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a little bit. Alright, so I have the first row done, which doesn't look like much, but what I mean by keeping consistent pattern is by pressing with the soldering iron the same hardness each time and trying to keep the same angle. So right here with the first row doesn't look like a big deal, but once I continue bringing the pattern down further, so on this one for example, they all kind of start meshing together nicely. And the harder you press, the more aggressive your texture is going to be, and the lighter, obviously, the less aggressive it's going to be. So it's kind of user preference on how aggressive you're wanting it to be. Just play around with it and you'll soon get the hang of how to get it done. So, trying to work on this, let me just show you guys what I deal with. Whenever I'm trying to do something serious or focus, these guys always got to get in the way of that. Every day. So pretty much what we got going on is got a few of the blocks filled out and started around the edges, and so you pretty much just got to keep going through this until you finish the whole pattern. It does take time, it takes patience. I would recommend maybe listening to some music, doing this while watching TV or a movie or something, to pass the time. But once you feel confident with PMag, that's when I'd say it could be time to move on to possibly, a polymer handgun frame. Or if you're still not ready for that, or you will never possibly be ready for that, if you think you may ruin your gun, then don't try it. But One other thing I wanted to show you guys real quick was my Magpul AFG that I did on this AR-15. So, you know, it wasn't a big deal to me if I messed it up. You know, they're not that expensive, but the whole purpose was to give me a little bit more grip when firing this particular AR-15, and it definitely does just that. So, just another thing to consider, guys. Anyways, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Make sure you drop a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for future content, guys. And as always, have a good one.